Fangfest. And one of the bands that I'm most excited about to see today is a band that I've seen quite a few times. Did one of the most amazing covers of the Churches Under the Milky Way at Lollapalooza that I could ever even remember in my life. Claudio from Coheed and Cambria. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, hanging in there.
It's great to see you. Thank you very much for your time. Album came out in October, and you know the big news, the big deal was that it was a departure from the Armory Wars storyline. Have you, like your fans are so hardcore and are so tight and loving of your band. Did you get any feedback from those guys? Anything that was not glowing? Did anybody get kind of crazy about it?
No, I think everyone was pretty receptive to the idea of like allowing the Armory Wars like a chance to take a break, I guess, you know? But no, everything's been pretty positive, you know? Of course, when we were going into it, we were a little apprehensive because, yeah, that's such a strange thing for our band to do now with however many records we've had that are, you know, enveloped in that concept. But so far, it's been very positive across the board.
I know when I heard the first track, You'll Go Far, Kid, I was thinking to myself, how is this going to fit into the story? And then I read after the fact that it was like, okay, well, now that makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. You actually went out to the country to record this album. Is that true, or is that the best way to say it?
A little bit. Like, I have a country home that got, while writing this record, got vandalized. It was turned into what they suspect a $300,000 a month grow house operation.
Whoa.
But while I was renting this house, I was living in a small apartment in Park Slope, Brooklyn. And that was where I sort of got taken out of my comfort zone. You know, I'm used to waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and being my most creative. But in a city situation, in an apartment lifestyle, that just doesn't happen. So that's really where I wrote most of the record. And then when we found out the situation with the house, my wife and I, who then found out we were pregnant, had to figure out what to do with our house situation before our son was going to be born. And so all of these things kind of helped contribute to what this record became.
I'm so fascinated by how everybody just seems to have a different sort of way that they are creative. You know what I mean? So that really... I'm so fascinated by the idea. So you wake up, and that is the most creative that you are during the course of the day. That's when it all kind of comes out.
Yep.
So at 4 o'clock, you're just toast, or what?
You know, usually I like to stop by noon, and then I have the rest of the day to do whatever it is I want. You know, because once the sun starts coming out and it starts doing its thing, it's like, for me, I just get what's the word? Sidetracked, I guess. You know, I'm all about quiet and no distractions, and I can get that at that hour in the day. You know, even for the comic books and things like that, I'll find myself walking the neighborhood 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just contemplating these ideas, jotting them down in my my iPhone in the notes application, and just collecting. You know, and that's usually the hour where it all kind of comes together.
In general, I just think it's pretty badass that you can say, "I've got a summer home." I've got a summer home. We'll get it at the, you know, we'll do something at the summer home for the kid's birthday.
Well, no, you know, I wish I could say that. At the moment, I still have that house, but now I'm renting it to new renters. Like I couldn't, you know, do both.
Are you more of a city guy?
You know what? I found out. Yes, I am. You know, I don't drive a whole lot. I like to walk. And the city just complements that, you know, that lifestyle. So I find that, yes, I very much am a city guy now, and it's really expensive to live there. So.
there is the issue. I said this to you a bit before the interview started, but I really wanted to make sure that I brought it up. You have made me look like an absolute hero in my house with Here to Mars. I mean, From Here to Mars. It's just such an absolutely beautiful song, and this album to me, man, is so touching and beautiful, and just, I mean, you can just tell that there were some amazing things happening in your life and that you were inspired by it to write this thing. It's just really something else.
Oh, man. That's really nice of you to say. Thanks.
And again, like every time I play that song for my girl, I become the hero, and she gives me that look like, you know what, you're not such a jerk. I think I remember you in the first place. So last thing, before we get you out of here, I know that you guys have done tons and tons and tons of festivals. Like I said, I saw you at Lollapalooza. I'm very curious the difference between, say, a Lollapalooza, a Bonnaroo here, as opposed to, like, I know you guys are doing Reading and Leeds. Like what are the kind of differences for maybe you guys as well as the guy going to see the show?
You know, I don't know.
I mean, from your side, why would you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the way that It's tough because the festival culture has become is now embraced here in the U.S. And for a while, it felt like it was a very big part of the European world, right? And it just felt different. But nowadays, that line is sort of blurred, in my opinion. But for me, as a performer, it's always difficult because I like reflection. I like when sound bounces off walls, and it's hard when you're out in a field where it's just completely traveling away from you. You don't really get that. You can't feel that energy in terms of the sonic vibe. For me, so that's where I kind of find the difference.
I love it because I love to be able to see 20 amazing bands in 2 days or whatever the fact. But also the bummer is when you go and see a band that you like a lot like yours and the set's an hour, you're like, oh, well, I really could use my other hour of Coheed and Cambria. That's my only sort of, well, and also porta potty lines.
Oh,
that really gets a little out of control. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
We really appreciate Coheed being back and playing Point Fest. We're honored to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Backstage at Point Fest.
Point Fest videos at 1057thepoint.com. More Point Fest videos at 1057thepoint.com.